is like this vibrational pattern of hair that hits your ears and gets transduced into electric impulses. You start vibrating with the air around you. I like to think of sound as this spiral that really connects the physical world with the metaphysical world, the material and the immaterial. In that sense, sound really brings you outside of your ego and your physical boundaries.
Music is radical immanence, being able to really feel the present, feel the moment.
Very interested in exploring the psychophysical effects of sound and how repetition really shape our perception. I work a lot with repetitive, recursive elements, explore this hypnotic power that sound has on consciousness. I'm not actively looking for this emotional effect in my music. It's more like a side effect. At the beginning of my musical journey, I was trying to stick more to abstract musical languages like drone, and I wasn't letting this emotional power flow in my music because I was a bit suspicious. I didn't want to show any vulnerability in my music. For me, playing synthesizers was really creating this shield on me. Working with this very machinic, cold, almost robotic aspect of music was really interesting for me. But then I learned how to embrace this emotional power. It just became part of my musical writing. I just go back to this melodic combinations that have a certain emotional effect on the listener. The starting point of this, I think, is more conceptual, and it's the idea of almost reprogramming consciousness through sound, working with certain repetitive structure that get very hypnotical and get the listener into a certain trance state.
With analog synthesizer, my practice starts from the oscillator, which is the actual generator of sound. It all starts from this ongoing field of electricity. You enter the room, the modular is on, you hear this humming coming from the modular, you feel this electrical presence. And for me, this really shifted the compositional approach, because you don't start from silence, you start from a sound that is already there. It takes time to create a dialogue with this instrument. You have to turn them on, you have to tune them, you have to wait until they heat. They are very reactive in terms of voltages, jumps and stuff like that. So all of this creates a ritual with the instrument. It creates an active relationship where you have to be receptive, you have to engage physically and mentally with the instrument. The fact that there is this ritual element, I think, is very important for creativity. It's important to not lose it, while with the digital world it's a bit easier to lose that ritual element. The modular instrument is an extension of my own body. My body, on the other hand, is an extension of music. It's like somehow music manifests itself through your body. It's like you're channeling music, you're kind of a medium through which music sort of manifests itself. In that moment, the music, the instrument, the body are not separable. They are all part of the same organism. It's really important to reach that state where you forget about the technicalities when you are performing and really embrace this moment. You always see that with musicians who have like a very peculiar practice in the instrument. For example, Bendik Giskin working with the saxophone, like you really see how physical it is, even if it's not a different word from the modular. You see the same sort of choreographic element, this sort of symbiosis with the instrument.
Light Years is a label platform that works in a multidisciplinary framework. The idea is to have Light Years as a platform where I can release my own musical output, but also music from others. I am mostly focused on music, but I am interested in working with visual artists. The idea behind the Light Years show is actually to show this interdisciplinary element of the label. After the pandemic especially, I felt the urgency of exploring this more collective formats where I was inviting different artists to join me and collaborate. I've been inviting artists that are kind of on the same orbit or same wavelength. I think it was a side effect of the pandemic as well. After a very long time of isolation, I really felt the urgency of collaborate with people and have this more collective formats.
Music is radical immanence, being able to really feel the present, feel the moment. But in general, I really like this experience of almost dissolution into sound, like these heavy physical experiences of sound. And I think that's what really drew me into electronic music, this sense of freedom and physical connection that I was experiencing in sound that was pretty different from the rigidity of my classical training that somehow suffocated a bit this more sensorial and like joyful element of physical connection to sound, somehow suffocated a deeper understanding for me of my creative potential. So when I started like discovering this different way of living music, I was really attracted by electronic music, and that's how I started working with synthesizers.